Today is Tuesday, March 8th, approximately 4:01. I'd like to call to order Bay County Board of Commissioners. If you take roll, please.
Commissioner Dumanchek.
Here.
Big Dick.
Here.
Inman.
Here.
Eric.
Here.
Billy.
Here.
Lutz.
Here.
Reader.
Yes,
All members present.
thank you. We'll stand for the invocation and then the pledge.
Lord God, the strength of all who put their trust in you, we ask that you will bless the session of the County Board of Commissioners this day, and that you will lead and guide the board in the decisions made so that all citizens in this community will benefit. In your holy name we ask this. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good. You've all had an opportunity to look at the minutes. What's your pleasure?
Motion approved. Support.
Any discussion? With none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll move into citizens' input. This would be the time if somebody from the audience would like to address the board. Now's the time to do it. Good afternoon, Mr. Starkweather.
Good afternoon. My name's Tom Starkweather. I believe some of you know me. I am a candidate for the Bay Area Behavioral Health Authority Board. I've been on the board for one term and a third. I filled in the absence caused by Art Pominville's passing, and this is the second time that I have the opportunity to be considered by you for reappointment. My background is I am a member of the Department of Behavioral Health, DHH. They keep changing the name on me. DHHS, and in that capacity, I'm also on the medical care facility, and that gives me a lot of insight as to how it applies to behavioral health, because I act as a liaison between the two of them. And I think that that's very important to the community, and that we work in a coordinated effort. By way of background, I have a bachelor's degree in real estate finance and urban economics with a minor in law from the University of Connecticut. I am a commercial real estate appraiser, certified general appraiser, which is the highest level you can get in the United States and the highest in the state. And I've been a real estate broker for a number of years, having got my first license in 1964. I don't want to think about how many years that is. I would like to make my services available again for another 3-year period, and I certainly would appreciate your consideration. Thank you very much.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon. My name is Thomas Dewey. I'm retired from Bay Area Behavioral Health. Retired 4 years ago. I worked there for 25 years. I worked in the field for another 9 years prior to that. And I'm currently serving with the Suicide Prevention Coalition of Bay and Aranac counties. And I would like to be able to serve the people that I worked with and the people that I worked for by being one of the new members of the BABHA. So I hope you'll consider me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Charles Suchodolski. I also am a candidate for the Bay Aranac Behavioral Health Board. Just want to give you a little background so you can put a face with a name. I have lived in Bay County almost my entire life. I've worked for the last 32 plus years for the Bay County Department of Water and Sewer, 6 of them as the supervisor and the last 3 as the superintendent of the water department. I am planning to retire here in April of this year, so what I'm looking to do is to, upon my retirement, I'm going to have a little more free time, which will allow me to be able to do some community service, and that's the reason why I decided to put my name in for the candidate for this board. Working for Bay County in my current position, Obviously, being the superintendent, I have a lot of experience in the area of both finance, budgeting, and employee relations, and also following state and federal guidelines. And I'm very glad that I work for Bay County and not for the city of Flint, in case anyone wants to know, because we are putting out an awesome product. Let's put a little plug in for that. And I live in Hampton Township with my wife, and I would appreciate your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to address the board? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I am Jenny Geneseo. I am another person here that has submitted an application for the Mental Health Authority Board. A little bit about myself. I've been a resident of Bay County for many years, most of my life, and have chosen to raise a family here. I have 4 children, 22 through 15. At some point, I went back to school and got a bachelor's degree in social work, and then got a master's degree also. I'm currently employed as an outpatient therapist at Community Mental Health for Central Michigan, which covers the 6 counties to the northwest of us. However, I live in Bay County. This is where my heart is. This is where we've chosen to raise our family. We did not move into Midland County, so I've been in this field for about 4.5 years since graduating, and I feel pretty settled in the direction and what I'm doing career-wise. And it's time, I think, to step up and look forward and see different ways that I can serve my community. So I would appreciate your consideration. I think I would have a lot to offer. Thank you.
Very good. Anyone else? That being said, we'll move into petitions and communications. Under A, we have a proclamation. April is a Child Abuse Prevention Month. It's Resolution 2016-60. Motion to receive would be in order.
So moved. Support.
Discussions? With none, Commissioner Tilley, if you would...
Madam Clerk, read the proclamation first.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
Resolution 2016-60, whereas child maltreatment is a national tragedy, cutting across racial, ethnic, and socioeconomic boundaries, and endangering our most precious resource and greatest responsibility, our children. And whereas it is disturbing to note that approximately 3 million children are reported abused and neglected in this country each year, and in Bay County alone, over 3,206 cases of child abuse were reported in 2014, up from 2,709 cases in 2013. Whereas children have the right to be safe in their own homes and to be provided every opportunity to learn, grow, and thrive, child abuse violates a child's dignity, security, vulnerability, and humanity. Whereas we can all join together as individuals, organizations, and governmental agencies to prevent child abuse in Michigan by providing education, skills training, and support by raising awareness of relevant topics, including child development, basic care skills, discipline strategies, and goal setting for parents. And whereas by strengthening families and providing safe, stable, nurturing environments that are free from violence, abuse, and neglect, opportunities are created for children's optimal growth and success, ensuring a secure future for our communities where the needs of children are a priority and the needs of families are met. Therefore, be it resolved that the Bay County Board of Commissioners and the Bay County Executive hereby designate the month of April as Child Abuse Prevention Month in Bay County, and calls upon all Bay County citizens, community agencies, faith groups, medical facilities, and businesses to increase their participation in supporting families with the goal of preventing child abuse, maltreatment, abuse, and neglect. And be it further resolved that the Bay County Board of Commissioners and the Bay County Executive urge full support of the CAN Council's mission to build communities where children are freed from abuse and neglect. Signed, Ernie Krieger, Chair and Board.
Very good. All those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Tilley.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, absolutely. No. We stand outside the gates until Commissioner Lutz deems that you're worthy to pass through. Catherine, on behalf of the Bay County Board of Commissioners, I want to thank you for your efforts in helping the children of this community. They are the most precious commodity that we could ever have in this community. My wife, being an OT in the with the ISD and working with elementary children, sees it all the time. It's a tragedy when they get to the high school level where I teach, and they live the lives that they live the lives they lead, oftentimes without most of us knowing what's going on, and they don't want to admit it because it is their family, and it's their parents oftentimes, and or foster parents, what have you, in those households, and it's tragic what goes on behind the scenes. And so the key to most of these social issues, and this being one of the big ones, is education, 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 education. And the more our community can get involved and understand what really goes on in the homes of these children, the more accepting our community will be and be more willing to actually help these kids out. And hopefully they can go on and live prosperous lives away from the tragedies that do happen in their homes once in a while. So on behalf of the Bay County Board of Commissioners, I want to thank you for all you do and award you with the certificate and hope that you continue your services long into the future.
We plan on to, and I invite everyone to come out to the kickoff at the Department of Health and Human Services on April 1st at 11:30, where we will be planting pinwheels in front of their building. So please come and join us that day. Thank you.
Thanks, Catherine.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Tilly.
Debbie, you had a good spot.
That's really good. Take a picture.
Photobomb.
All right. Next, under B, is a request for appointments to Bay Arnack Behavioral Health Authority. What we have is 6 candidates. A motion to receive would be in order.
So moved. Support.
Discussion? With none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Sergeant at Arms, if you would.
Yes, sir,
come up.
Mr. Chair.
We'll be filling 3 positions. Actually, the first category is going to be more of a specialized in fitting the criteria that the board has to have. There's a blend of different individuals that sit on the board, and Bob Pavlik happens to be an individual that has a family member that deals with mental health issues. So the first category would be Bob Pavlik, and I guess we would do a vote, and we'll do a roll call, please.
So we cast on the ballot?
Yes.
Only Pablo?
Yes. 1.
We start with Commissioner Lutz.
Yes, for Robert.
For Pablo.
Yes.
Durancheck?
Pavlik.
Begay?
Pablo.
Coonan? Eric?
Pavlik.
Tilly?
Pablo.
Krieger?
Pavlik.
7 votes. Pablo. For one position.
Very good. So now we'll move into 2 more positions to be filled with the other 5 individuals. If we go around the horn again.
We're voting 2 this time.
Correct.
Durancheck?
Mr. Byrne. Mr. Starkweather.
Begay?
Jennifer Geneseo and Tom Dewey.
Coonan?
Byrne and Starkweather.
Eric?
Starkweather and Dewey.
Tilly?
Starkweather and Byrne.
Lutz?
Byrne and Starkweather.
Krieger?
Be Starkweather and Burns.
Total count, Byrne 5, Starkweather 6, Dewey 2, Geneseo 1.
Mr. Mayor.
Very good.
Motion.
Motion to receive would be in order,
So moved.
Support.
or actually to,
Accept.
yes, to re-elect.
So moved.
All right.
Support.
Discussions? Yes, Commissioner
Yeah, I
Tilly.
want to say that this was probably the most qualified board. We have 2 dynamite incumbents, and we had 3 dynamite, well-qualified candidates to replace any of those positions that were open. So I do strongly want to suggest that all of you, as we move forward and over the years, continue to reapply for this position. You're more than qualified to do this work, and I'm glad that I see interest out there from the community. Because in the time there's going to be a transition from the people, and thanks for applying. Thank you very much.
Very good. Commissioner Lutz.
Yeah, I'd like to also thank the people that did apply, and I would hope that they would not stop applying. You know, Charles, with your varied background, you know, there's probably many boards that are going to be coming up, not only this one, but others in the future, and all those others that apply. You know, this isn't the only one that we go to. I think we have 8 or 9 different boards that we do throughout the year. So I thank you for applying. And yes, you were all well qualified. I've read everything and listened. And, I was just totally impressed, you know, with what we had to actually vote on.
Anyone else? Okay, all those in favor signal by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We will go on to, we'll skip C, seeing that we've taken care of the needs.
Receive.
Actually, a motion to receive would be in order then.
Court?
Any other discussion? With none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll go to D, City of Bay City, application for obsolete property rehabilitation.
Move to receive. Court?
Any discussion? With none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll move into reports and resolutions of committees. We'll go to Ways and Means with Commissioner Coonan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. From Ways and Means, we have Resolution 2016-61. This is the Crime Victim Rights Grant Agreement through the Prosecutor's Office. I move this resolution.
Support.
Discussion. With none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution 2016-62, Victims of Crime Act, VOCA. It's a grant through the prosecutor. I move this resolution.
Support.
Discussion. With none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution 2016-63, West Odor Forum. This is Clear Services for the front of the court. I move this resolution.
Support.
Discussion. With none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution 2016-64, amendment number 2 to the Comprehensive Planning, Budgeting, and Contracting Agreement through the Health Department. I move this resolution.
Support.
Discussion. With none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution 2016-65, Tier 2 Manager Software License Agreement through Emergency Management. I move this resolution.
Support.
Discussion. With none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution 2016-66, this is an RFP for mobile data computers for the Bay County law enforcement agencies through emergency management. I move this resolution.
Support.
Discussions. With none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution 2016-67, recreation manager vacancy through personnel. I move this resolution.
Support.
Discussions. With none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution 2016-68, number of payables through the general and bayonet. Center Ridge Arms. I move this resolution.
Support.
Discussion. With none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution 2016-69, budget adjustments. I move this resolution.
Support.
Discussions. With none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution 2016-70, software license agreement with BMC Software through IS. I move this resolution.
Support.
Discussions. With none, all those in favor signal by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution 2016-71, license agreement with Ask IBM. This is through Information Services. I move this resolution.
Support.
Discussion. With none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And Mr. Chairman, that's all the business from Ways and Means.
Thank you, Commissioner Coonan. We'll go to Personnel and Human Services. Commissioner Lutz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Today I'd like to bring Resolution 2016-72, the Mitchell and McCormick Licensure Agreement Renewal for the Health Department. I move that resolution.
Support.
Discussion. With none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Next is 2016-73, the NEM SCA Head Start Agreement through the Health Department. I move that resolution.
Support.
Discussion. With none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Next is Resolution 2016-74. It's the Delta College Fitness Center Agreement for 2016 and 17 through the Personnel Department. I move that resolution.
Support.
Discussion. With none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Next, I bring Resolution 2016-75, which is the vacancies in the juvenile home, mosquito control, recreation, and facilities for the summer workers. I move that resolution.
Support.
Discussion. With none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And that's all we have from Personnel and Human Services.
Thank you, Commissioner Lutz. We'll go into Board of Commissioners. Commissioner Tilley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have Resolution 2016-76, Reports of the County Executive. I so move this resolution.
Support.
Discussion. With none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
That concludes business from the Board of Commissioners, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Tilley. We'll move into reports of county officials and departments, and we'll come to Mr. Hickner, County Exec. Anything to say you?
No.
Very well put. So we'll move into unfinished business. Any unfinished business? Any new business? Commissioner Begic.
Just want to mention, since I got here a little bit late last week, we did have a heroin summit there last week, and I noticed there was an announcement on MLive that Joel Strauss and the undersheriff and Dr. Marone are part of this task force that's trying to address the heroin problem in the area, like a three-pronged attack of treatment, prosecution, and so I think it's a good step forward to get things going in Bay County.
I think, Joel, would you like to address that? Have him come up and speak a moment on it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Heroin Task Force met on February 12th and will be meeting again at various times in the coming months. There are three, as you indicated, Commissioner, there are three main focuses that we're looking at. Number one is law enforcement because it is a legal issue. Troy Cunningham, the undersheriff, is heading up that aspect and is working with local law enforcement agencies and the courts and state police and others. There is treatment, which we had a really good showing from all the treatment providers in the two-county area here, in addition to folks from Community Mental Health and Mid-State Health Network as well. And then finally, there's the public health / prevention aspect where we need to talk about or come up with strategies where we engage the community about the issue itself and how we're going to combat that and how we get just the basic information out to folks of where to seek treatment, how to seek treatment, where to dispose of medicines and things like that. We had talked last week, Mr. Chairman, about putting together a repository at the Sheriff's Department or the law enforcement.
Just to give everybody an update, we're moving forward. The undersheriff is working with a couple individuals to put together a container that would be able to properly house prescription drugs that are no longer being used. So instead of having to make the trek all the way out to Freeland to the state police, we'll very quickly here, in a short time, be able to bring your medications that are no longer being used and properly dispose it at the law enforcement building.
In a secured manner, and according to the DEA regulations.
Correct.
And the one thing, too, that I want to add is that it's not only good from a public health standpoint and law enforcement standpoint, but it's good for an environmental standpoint, too, because we're taking those drugs out of the water table and properly disposing of them.
Very good. Any questions? Commissioner Begic.
Actually, there was an article in today's paper about someone who had overdosed, and they got to him in time with an naloxone, and it saved his life. So I think that's important that we get.
That's
get
another
that too.
key component that we, the naloxone distribution and training the first responders and actually distributing that out to family members and victims themselves. So that's a good thing. We saved one life.
Okay. Anyone else? Thank you so much. We're into miscellaneous. I do have a few. Yes, Commissioner Tilley.
Yeah, I sent out an email to Tom and Tiffany and yourself, and again, I know I realize it's part of contract negotiations, but the city of Lansing recently, I think it's sent to Bob too, recently adopted a personnel policy, well, it's in their contracts essentially, that for every 26 hours of work that part-time employees take or work, they're entitled to 1 hour of paid sick leave time off. And that applies to medical needs and/or sexual or domestic assault or the sexual violence matters. And I would hope that administration going into negotiations, I mean, it's another tool to use in negotiations. We have a lot of part-time employees who do a lot of great things for our community and for the county, and I think it would show some appreciation that we have actually for what they've done over the course of the years, and in the wake of salaries being cut in the state of Michigan over the course of the last decade, and more people are working part-time than ever. I think it could be a noble step going forward in negotiations to at least have that as an option on the table. And I get that everything is between two parties in negotiations, and there's a give and take on things. But I think maybe it's something we should consider offering to our part-time employees.
Very good.
Thank you.
I do have another announcement, and that's that the Commission Chambers ceilings will be painted the last 2 weeks of this month, so they won't be available for at least those 2 weeks. So those of you that sneak in here once in a while might have to take on ladders and scaffolding and paintbrushes, so I'd say stay away. We'll get into announcements. In June, we have a library board position. It's a 5-year term, currently held by Don Carlion. In October, we have Land Bank Authority. It's one local unit of government representative. It's a 3-year term, basically held by Richard Burns right now. Department of Health and Human Services Board of Directors, there's a 3-year term. Currently, Mr. Starkweather is in that position. And then in December, Division on Aging Advisory Committee. There are 4 2-year terms in Districts 2, 4, 6, and 1 at large. Shauna, is there a need for closed session?
No, Mr. Chair.
Very good. Then,
Motion to adjourn is always in order, Mr. Chair.
very good.
Support.
All those in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.